Welcome friends. We now start the discussion on integrals of complex valued functions. As in real calculus, we distinguish between definite integrals and indefinite integrals or antiderivatives. An indefinite integral is a function whose derivative equals a given analytic function in a region. By inverting non-differentiation formulas, as find many types of indefinite integrals. Next we have derivatives of complex valued functions of real variable. The derivatives of complex valued functions of complex variable have been introduced in previous sessions. We have seen that if f is a function whose domain of definition contains a neighborhood of a point z0, then the derivative of f at z0 is f dash z0 is equal to, which is equal to limit z tending to z0 f of z minus f of z0 by z minus z0. Provided this limit exists. In order to introduce integrals of fz in a fairly simple way, we first consider derivatives and definite integrals of complex valued functions w of a real variable t. We have definition, that is, if w of t is equal to u of t plus iv of t, equation number 1, where the functions u and v are real valued functions of t, then the derivative w dash of t, or we can say d by dt of w of t, of the function this one at a point t is defined as w dash of t is equal to what? U dash of t plus iv dash of t. Equation number 2. Provided each of u dash and v dash, the derivatives of the real valued functions u and v exist at t. Next, theorem 1. For each complex constant, that is z0 is equal to x0 plus I by 0, d by dt of z0 of w of t which is equal to, here we have a bracket, which is equal to z0 into w dash of t. Equation number 3, third equation. The proof follows that for each complex constant z0, that is x0 plus I by 0, we have d by dt of z0 wt is equal to, we can write d by dt of z0 into wt is equal to d by dt of, instead of z0 we can write x0 plus I by 0, and for w of t we can write u plus iv, which is equal to, here we have brackets, main bracket, d by dt of, which is equal to d by dt of x0 u, mere multiplication, minus y0 v plus I terms, here we have y0 u minus plus x0 v, which is equal to d by dt of, first term we have x0 u minus y0 v plus I into d by dt of second term plus I into d by dt of y naught u plus x naught v using definition 2, which we can write as, which is equal to x naught u dash minus y naught v dash, first term x naught u dash minus y naught v dash plus second term I into y naught u dash plus x naught v dash. Since for the real valued function u and the real constant x naught, d by dt of x naught u can be written as x naught into du by dt and so on. That is, which we can write, which is equal to x naught plus I y naught into u dash plus I v dash. That is d by dt of z naught w of t, which is equal to z naught into w dash of t. Theorem number 2. If w1t and w2t are complex valued functions of a real variable t, then first we have sum rule, that is d by dt of w1t plus w2t is equal to w1 dash t plus w2 dash t. Equation number 3, sorry, equation number 4, fourth equation. Next we have product rule, that is d by dt of, here we have summation, next we have product, that is d by dt of w1t into w2t product, which is equal to w1t into w2 dash t plus w1 dash t into w2t, first into derivative of the second plus derivative of the first into second one. The proof. Verification of the above results can be made similar to the proof of theorem 1 based on the corresponding rules for real valued functions. We prove only product rule and leave the verification of the other to the exercises. That is, let w1t is equal to u1t plus I v1t. And we can take w2t is equal to u2t plus I v2t, equation number 1, where the functions u1, v1, u2 and v2 are real valued functions of t. Then we have d by dt of w1t into w2t, which is equal to d by dt of what? u1t, that is replace w1t by this and wt by this one. So, we get u1t, u2t on multiplication, we get u1t, u2t minus v1t, v2t plus the next term I into The next term is u1 v2, u1 t v2 t, that is u1 v2 term plus v1 t u2 t. This is the second term, that is terms containing the complex number I. This we can write as, which is equal to again d by dt of what, u1 t u2 t minus v1 t v2 t plus we can take this d by dt inside the bracket, that is d by dt of u1 t u2 t minus v1 t v2 t plus again d by dt of, here we have I, we can take this I outside, I into d by dt of u1 t v2 t plus v1 t u2 t. This is our second term by using definition 2. This we can write as which is equal to u1 t into du2 t by dt plus du1 t by dt into u2 t. This is our first term differentiation minus what, in the brackets we have v1 into, next we have dv2 t by dt, dv2 t by dt plus, here we have t plus dv1 t by dt into v2 t. This is a differentiation of the second term, that is first into derivative of the second, like that. Next we have the term plus I into u1 t into dv2 t by dt, dv2 t by dt, this is our first term, plus du1 t by dt into v2 t, first term, second term, plus v1 t into du2 t by dt plus what, dv1 t by dt into u2 t. This is actually our second term, that is terms containing I, using product rule of real valued functions of t, which is equal to u1 t plus I v1 t into u2 dash t plus I v2 dash t plus, next term we have u1 dash t plus I v1 dash t into u2 t plus I v2 t. That is, this we can write as, which is equal to what? It is nothing but w1 t into w2 dash t plus w1 dash t into w2 t. Next theorem, we have d by dt of e raised to z naught t. That is derivative d by dt of e raised to z naught t. This is equal to z naught e raised to z naught t. This we have to prove. Let the fixed complex number be z naught is equal to x naught plus I y naught. Then e raised to z naught t can be written as, this I can written as e raised to, instead of z naught I can write x naught plus I y naught into t, which I can write, we can split it as e raised to x naught t into e raised to I y naught t. This can again be written as e raised to x naught t into e raised to I y naught t can be written as cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t. That is, e raised to I y naught t can be write like this, e cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t. This we have already discussed. Hence, I can write d by dt of e raised to z naught of z naught t, d by dt of e raised to z naught t. Now, using this I can write this as d by dt of what, e raised to x naught t into cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t. Applying product rule in theorem 2 of complex valued function of a real variable, which is equal to e raised to x naught t d by dt of cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t plus d by dt of e raised to x naught t, that is derivative of the first term, into cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t, that is our second term. Applying product rule in theorem 2 of complex valued functions of a real variable, we can write this as, which is equal to e raised to x naught t, that is our first term, e raised to x naught t. Now, we have to differentiate term by term, which I can write as, here we have minus y naught sin y naught t plus I, derivative of this is I into y naught, derivative of sin is cos y naught t, plus this is our first term differentiation, plus next we have d by dt of e raised to x naught t, derivative is x naught into e raised to x naught t into this term we can write itself cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t. Using definition 2, and since from real calculus we have d by dt of cos y naught t is equal to minus y naught sin y naught t and etc. This I can write as, which is equal to e raised to x naught t into minus y naught sin y naught t plus I y naught cos y naught t plus x naught cos y naught t plus I into x naught sin y naught t on simplification we can write, which is equal to x naught plus I y naught into e raised to x naught t, what remains, cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t. This I can write as, x naught plus I y naught, we can write it as z naught, and e raised to x naught t into cos y naught t plus I sin y naught t as e raised to z naught t. So, this is our proof. Not every rule for derivatives in calculus carries over to functions of the form wt is equal to ut plus ivt. For example, a result similar to mean value theorem in calculus does not hold in the case of complex valued function. Suppose that the complex valued function wt is continuous on an interval a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. That is a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. That is, its component functions, that is ut and vt, are continuous there. Even if w dash t exists when a less than t less than b, the mean value theorem for derivatives of functions of real numbers no longer applies to w of t. To be precise, it is not necessarily true that there is a real number c in the interval a less than t less than b, such that w dash of c is equal to wb minus w of a by b minus a. Equation number 6. The following example illustrates this, that is, the mean value theorem does not hold. Consider the function w of t is equal to e raised to I t on the interval 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. Here w t is equal to e raised to I t, and also this t varies from 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. Then mod w dash t is equal to mod I e raised to I t, which I can write as 1, showing that w dash t is never 0, while that is w of t, I can write mod w dash of t is equal to 1, that is mod I e raised to I t, while w 2 pi, w of 2 pi minus w of 0. This is equal to e raised to I 2 pi minus e raised to 0, that is again 1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. And hence, by taking b is equal to 2 pi, a is equal to 0, it is not possible to find a c satisfying our equation number 6, showing that mean value theorem does not hold. Definite integrals of w of t. We now define the definite integral of a complex valued function of a real variable t over a given interval a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. Definition of a definite integrals of the functions of the type, that is w of t is equal to ut plus I v t. Over the intervals a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b are defined as, we have integral a to b w of t dt, which is equal to integral a to b, here we have u of t, that is u of t dt plus I into integral a to b v of t dt. Mark it as equation number 7. Next equation. When the individual integrals of the real valued functions u and v on the right exist, since u of t is equal to real part of w of t and v of t is equal to imaginary part of w of t. That is, we can take u of t is equal to real part of w of t and v of t as imaginary part of w of t. That is, real part integral a to b w of t dt, which is equal to integral a to b real part of w of t dt. Next equation number 8, and again I can write imaginary part of integral a to b w of t dt, which is equal to integral a to b imaginary part of w of t dt. Mark it as equation number 9. Next we have an example, that is we have to evaluate integral 0 to pi by 6 e raised to I 2t dt. That is integral 0 to pi by 6 e raised to I 2t dt. This we have to evaluate. For that, we can write integral 0 to pi by 6 e raised to I 2t dt as integral 0 to pi by 6 cos 2t plus I sin 2t dt. This I can write as integral 0 to pi by 6 cos 2t plus I sin 2t dt. That is e raised to I 2t can be written like this, plus I sin 2t dt, which I can write as, which is equal to, I can split this, that is integral 0 to pi by 6 cos 2t dt, that is our first term, plus the second term, that is I into integral 0 to pi by 6 sin 2t dt. That is integral of cos 2t, that we know, sin 2t by 2, sin 2t by 2 over the limits 0 to pi by 6, plus we have I into integral of sin 2t, that is minus cos 2t by 2 over the limits 0 to pi by 6. We know sin 2t by 2 over the limits 0 to pi by 6. On simplification, we get it as root 3 by 4, plus again here we have cos 2t by 2 over the limits 0 to pi by 6. On substituting pi by 6 and 2 to the variable t, we on simplification we get it as I into 1 by 4, that is I by 4. We can write it as I by 4. That is I by 4. That is root 3. Actually, it is root 3 plus I by 4. Next, we have to evaluate integral 0 to 1 plus I t whole square dt. Here the limit is 0 to 1 plus I t whole square dt. Since 1 plus I t whole square can be written as this, I can write as what, 1 minus t whole square plus, that is terms does not containing I, plus I into 2t. On expanding this, I can write it as 1 minus t whole square plus I 2t, and I can write integral 0 to 1 plus I t whole square is equal to integral 0 to 1 splitting 1 minus t whole square dt plus I into integral 0 to 1 2t dt. On substituting, first we have to integrate 1 minus t square as usual and 2t, and substituting the values 0 and 1. On simplification we get this term as 2 by 3, and here we have simplification, we get integral 0 to 1 2t as 1. So, here we have 2 by 3 plus I. Improper integrals of w of t over unbounded intervals are defined in a similar way. The existence of the integrals of u and v in the definition 7 of the definite integral is ensured if those functions are piecewise continuous on the interval a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. Such a function is continuous everywhere in the stated interval except possible for the finite number of points where, although discontinuous, it has one-sided limits. Of course, only the right hand limit is required at A and only the left hand limit is required at B. When both u and v are piecewise continuous, the function w is said to be piecewise continuous. The next result is a rule for integrating a complex constant times a function. That is, the theorem states that rule for integrating a complex constant times a function. For a complex constant, z naught is equal to x naught plus I y naught. Integral a to b z naught w of t dt is equal to z naught integral a to b w of t dt. That is, integral a to b z naught w of t is equal to, here we have, of course, we have dt, which is equal to z naught integral a to b w of t dt. We have proof. For each complex constant, that is z naught is equal to x naught plus I y naught and w of t is equal to u t plus I v t, we have integral a to b z naught w of t dt can be written as, this can be written as I can write x naught plus I y naught instead of z naught, that is integral a to b x naught plus I y naught into, instead of w of t I can write u plus I v into dt. This is equal to mere multiplication integral a to b x naught u minus y naught v, that is we are collecting terms without I together, plus I into, next we have I terms together, that is y naught u plus x naught v dt. This is equal to, now I am going to split, that is integral a to b x naught u minus y naught v dt plus I into integral a to b y naught u plus x naught v dt by the definition of integration given by equation number 2, which is equal to, now x naught into, here we have u, that we have to integrate, integral a to b u dt minus y naught into integral a to b v dt plus I into, next term I into, now you put a bracket here, I into y naught into integral a to b u dt plus x naught into integral a to b v dt, close the bracket. This on simplification we get it as x naught into x naught plus I y naught into integral a to b u dt plus I into integral a to b v dt. Now, you put a bracket here, that is x naught plus I y naught into integral a to b u dt plus I into integral a to b v dt. Hence, we can say integral a to b z naught w of t is equal to z naught into integral a to b w of t dt. Next, theorem number 5. If w1t and w2t are complex valued functions of a real variable t defined over a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b, then integral a to b w1 plus w2 t dt is equal to integral a to b w1 t dt plus integral a to b w2 t dt, provided the integrals exist. Next, theorem number 6. if w of t is a complex valued function of a real variable t defined over a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b and a less than c less than b, then integral a to b w of t dt can be written as which I can write as integral a to c w of t dt plus integral c to b w of t dt, provided the integrals exist. Next we have extension of fundamental theorem of calculus. The fundamental theorem of calculus involving antiderivatives can be extended so as to apply to integral of the type integral a to b integral a to b w of t dt is equal to integral a to b ut dt plus I into integral a to b vt dt, that is ut dt plus next one I into integral a to b vt dt. Next equation number 10. We first recall fundamental theorem of calculus, that is if f is continuous at every point of ab, that is closed interval ab, and f is any antiderivative of f at closed interval ab, then we have integral a to b fx dx is equal to which is equal to f of x over the limits a to b, that we can write which is equal to f of b minus f of a. Next theorem says that extension of fundamental theorem of calculus to integrals of type 10, that is suppose w of t is equal to ut plus I vt and w of t is equal to ut plus I vt are continuous on the interval a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b. If w dash of t is equal to w of t when a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b, then integral a to b w of t dt is equal to, we can write integral a to b w of t dt, which is equal to w of t over the limits a to b. This I can write as w of b minus w of a, equation number 11. This w is called the antiderivative of this w. This capital W is the antiderivative of this small w. Proof: if w dash of t is equal to w of t when a less than or equal to t less than or equal to b, then we have that is capital W dash of t. Capital W dash of t is equal to w of t, where this t varies from a to b. Then we have u dash t, capital U dash t plus I v dash t, which is equal to what? Our small u t plus I v t. Here we have capital W and here we have small w. And so, u dash t is equal to ut, capital U dash t is equal to small ut. Similarly, v dash t is equal to vt. Hence, in view of definition 10 of definite integral, we can say integral a to b w of t dt is equal to integral a to b, here we have capital W, u of t plus actually it is u of t plus I v of t. I can split it as integral a to b u of t dt plus I into integral a to b v of t dt. This we can write as which is equal to u of t over the limits a to b plus I into v of t over the limits a to b. Using fundamental theorem of calculus of real valued functions, this I can write as which is equal to u of b minus u of a that is u of b minus u of a plus I into, here we have v of b minus v of a. This I is common for v of b and v of a. This I can write, which is equal to u of b plus I into v of b, next term minus u of a plus I v of a. This is nothing but what? W of b minus W of a. That is, integral a to b W of t dt is equal to W of b minus W a, which is equal to W of t over the limits a to b. That is our equation number 12. Next, we have to evaluate integral 0 to pi by 4 e raised to I t dt. That is integral 0 to pi by 4 e raised to I t dt. This I have to evaluate. We have d by dt of e raised to I t is equal to I e raised to I t. That is, d by dt of minus I e raised to I t is equal to minus I into d by dt of e raised to I t. That I can write as d by dt of minus I e raised to I t, which is equal to minus I into I e raised to I t, minus I into I e raised to I t. This is nothing but e raised to I t. So that taking W of t is equal to e raised to I t, I get capital W of t is equal to minus I e raised to I t. Using the above result, we have integral 0 to pi by 4 e raised to I t dt is equal to minus I e raised to I t over the limit 0 to pi by 4, which is equal to minus I e raised to I pi by 4 plus I. That I can write as, which is equal to minus I into 1 by root 2 plus I by root 2 plus I, which on simplification, which is equal to 1 by root 2 plus I into 1 by root 2 plus I into 1 minus 1 by root 2. Next, we have mean value theorem for integrals does not hold. Consider the function W of t is equal to e raised to I t on the interval 0 less than or equal to t less than or equal to 2 pi. We show that there is no number c in the interval 0 less than t less than 2 pi such that integral 0 to 2 pi W of t dt is equal to W of c 2 pi minus 0. That is integral 0 to ranges from 0 to 2 pi W of t dt. This is equal to W of c into 2 pi minus 0. It is easy to see that integral 0 to 2 pi W of t dt is equal to 0 to 2 pi W of t dt can be written as integral 0 to 2 pi e raised to I t dt. We know how to integrate e raised to I t, that is e raised to I t by I over the limit 0 to 2 pi. This is equal to what? The value is equal to 0. But for any number such that 0 less than c less than 2 pi, we have mod W of c into 2 pi minus 0 is equal to mod e raised to ic into 2 pi. We know mod e raised to ic is 1. So, which is equal to 2 pi, but we know this is not equal to 0. Thus, Wc into 2 pi minus 0 is not 0. So, in this session, we have discussed derivatives of complex valued functions of real variables and fundamental theorem of calculus and done some examples. In the next session, we discuss contours. So, see you next time. Until then, take care.